Hi, welcome to ERHS Back to School Night. My name's Tawny Castillo, and I'm your student's art teacher. A little bit about me. This year, I teach Drawing and Painting 1, Drawing and Painting 2, Digital Photography 2, AP Drawing, and AP 2D Design. I have my bachelor's in art education from Cal State Fullerton, and I also currently hold a credential for CTE in graphic design. My two favorite mediums to create in are printmaking and digital painting. The course goals for any course that I teach are similar. I want your students to develop perceptual skills and visual vocabulary in order to analyze the elements and principles of design. I also want them to demonstrate an understanding of skills and processes in order to create and derive meaning and make informed judgments through a critique. So students will be critiquing their own work as well as their peers' work. And of course, I understand it is an elective, so I want your students to have fun coming to class and acquire the technological skills needed to be future ready. My expectations for students are that they're respectful of themselves, others, as well as our virtual classroom, having the correct etiquette when speaking to each other online, as well as be prepared both mentally and physically to come to class, whether that's sitting in front of the computer during our distance learning time, or if we ever get to be back to traditional learning, being respectful of our space there, and coming to class ready to work. I want kids to be on time and also hand in their work on time. And I understand that art is a skill, it is a practice, and so it's okay sometimes to not be good at that skill at first, but the key is to not give up and do your best to be creative to solve solutions, as well as ask questions so that way you can be as successful as possible. The bulk of your student's grade will be from major projects. Those major projects are worth 60% of their grade. And we are going to be doing skill building activities to create those major projects to get the skills in order to be good at it. But think of it like the skill building activities being like homework and the major project being like a test. So those skill building activities will be turned in via a digital notebook. And we're also going to be creating an online portfolio. So, a collection of their work either displayed in a Google slide or an online portfolio on a website. And both the online portfolio and the digital notebook are separately 20% of your student's grade. Students will have 1 week after an initial due date to work on a project and turn it in for full credit. I do give some leeway there. Well, I'll move on in class and we'll move on to the next topic that we're covering, but they'll have the ability to still turn it in for 1 week. And then after that week, late work is half credit. I do not accept unfinished work. The reason is that I can't guess at what your student might have done. I'm not going to be able to guess that they might have shaded it differently or done line weight differently or anything like that. So artwork must be completed in order to be graded. I'll be using Google Classroom as my learning management system. If you need the Google Classroom code, please reach out to your student's counselor as they'll have a list of everybody, meaning teachers, Google Classroom codes. You can also reach out to me via email, but I might not be as quick to respond. Here are some of the tech tools that we'll be using in class. I will house all the links to these tools in the Google Classroom, so your student doesn't need to go anywhere else to find the information, but I just wanted to let you know what they'll be using. So we'll be using everything in the G Suite, so Google Docs, Google Slides, anything that says Google in front of it. We will also be using Flipgrid to submit individual videos to get more concise feedback from me. We are using Zoom, but in Zoom, it is a large group of students all at once. So in order to give specific feedback to your student, I'll be using Flipgrid. We'll also be using Edpuzzle as a way to watch YouTube videos and answer questions about them. And lastly, I'll also be using Pear Deck as a different way to give interactive presentations. And contact information. If you need to email me, my email is right here, tawny.castillo@cnusd.k12.ca.us. Sometimes that might take me a little bit longer to respond as I do receive many emails. So if you're looking for a quicker response, please message me on the Remind app. the code for your student's Classroom Remind app will be on my Google Classroom, and that app goes directly to my phone. And lastly, but not least, if you're interested in seeing what your students or other students in my other classes are doing, we do have a class Instagram that's called Mustangs Make Art. You're more than welcome to follow us there and see our progress. Well, that's all for me. I hope you guys have a lovely evening, and I can't wait to see what your students create this year.